I'm joined now by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who is traveling with the president in Malaysia. And Mr. Secretary, we know you have been meeting with the Chinese Vice Premier. President Trump will have a meeting with President Xi later this week. We have read this morning that you said there is a very successful framework in place now. Tell us about that, please.
Thank you, Martha. Good to be with you. So this was the fifth meeting that I've had with my Chinese counterpart, the Vice Premier, Hu Lifeng, and we covered a wide range of issues, and I think we've reached a substantial framework for the two leaders who will meet in Korea next Thursday. So, on the table, the president had given me maximum leverage when he threatened 100% tariffs if the Chinese imposed their rare earth global export controls. So I think we have averted that, so that the tariffs will be averted. And we have a regular quarterly meeting with the Chinese. It was scheduled for November 10th or before November 10th. I don't think we will have to have that. So we have been rolling the tariffs quarterly. So we agreed on that. We also agreed on substantial agriculture purchases for U.S. farmers. We agreed that the Chinese would begin to help us with the precursor chemicals for this terrible fentanyl epidemic that's ravaging our country. So I would say that it was a very good meeting overall.
And of course, it's up to President Trump. But what kind of concessions were made, especially on these rare earth minerals?
I'm not sure. What you meant is they had threatened to put a global export licensing regime, and I believe that they are going to delay that for a year while they re-examine it.
This will be the first time that President Trump has met President Xi. He says they have a very good relation, but we've also seen him say that about President Putin, and it didn't go so well. Why are you confident this will go better?
Well, this isn't the first time they met. This is the first time they met in his second term. And I think the purpose of the meeting for the past 2 days between myself and the Vice Premier was to make sure that they have a successful meeting. And based on this substantial framework from the past 2 days, I think that this could be the fantastic meeting between the two leaders. And they do have a very good relationship. It's based on mutual respect. We're the two largest economies and the two most powerful countries in the world. I've been in the Oval when the president is on phone calls with President Xi, and they show each other great respect. They iron out their differences, but I think that we have managed to pre-game a lot of that in advance here in Kuala Lumpur. And of course, the meeting on Thursday will be at the APEC summit in Korea.
I did mean the second term. I know they have met before. The president has also said he does want our farmers to be taken care of. You did mention that China has been boycotting American soybeans, and American farmers have really suffered. Do you see a real light at the end of the tunnel there? They may allow soybeans again?
Well, Martha, in case you don't know it, I'm actually a soybean farmer, so I have felt this pain too. And there are a couple of things happening here. One, the Chinese have substantially dropped their purchases to almost zero, so they unfortunately have been using American farmers who are amongst President Trump's biggest supporters. I think he had more than 90% support. And then this was one of the biggest crops in 20 or 30 years, so it was a perfect storm. But I think we have addressed the farmers' concerns, and I'm not going to get ahead of the president, but I believe when the announcement of the deal with China is made public, that our soybean farmers will feel very good about what's going on, both for this season and the coming seasons for several years.
And what more can you tell us about the additional 10% tariff on Canadian goods? Does it apply to goods that fall under the USMCA?
Martha, I've been over here in Asia while all that went on, so I can't give you any specifics on that.
And today is day 26. I know you have been over there, but there has been a government shutdown here. People are suffering. Federal employees are starting to go to food banks. Any light at the end of the tunnel on that? Should the president be meeting with Democrats again?
Well, what good does it do, Martha? They've dug in. The American people are hostage to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' poll numbers, because what's changed between now and the last time there was a clean continuing resolution is Chuck Schumer has tanked in the polls. Both of the two guys from Brooklyn, like I call them, are worried about being primary from the left. 52 Republican senators have voted 11 times to reopen the government. 3 brave, moderate Democrats have come across the aisle. So, I call on moderate Democratic senators to end this craziness. You'll be heroes. Because, Martha, what I can tell you is that we managed to find the money in the middle of October to pay our brave service members. And I think we'll be able to do it on November 1st. But we're going to be out of money on November 15th. And, for a military not to get paid is a disgrace. The other thing that's happening is this is starting to eat into the economy, starting to slow the economy, and we're also starting to see there's a problem with air traffic control, so it's starting to slow down our nation's travel.
But Secretary Bessent, I should add that the president's party, your party, controls the White House and both chambers of Congress. You don't think you bear any responsibility for this?
Margaret, what can we do? What can we do for this desperate act that we can call on them to change their minds? Because I can tell you, the 1.5 trillion in spending that they're calling for, that's not on the table. We inherited a mess. We inherited the worst budget deficit to GDP when we weren't in a recession and we weren't at war. It was 6.4, 6.5%. We've managed to bring that down to 5.9%, and we're not going to let them be irresponsible with the budget again.
Okay, thanks for joining us this morning, Secretary Bessent. We appreciate it. Good luck over there.
Good to see you, Martha.